Welcome to Ops Owners Episode 2. I am so excited to have Kevin Daisey join me today. Kevin is the founder of Array Digital. Array Digital is a digital marketing agency for law firm owners, and so he is very, very familiar with the legal process and how to help the legal industry operate very well within marketing and get the message out there. And so super excited to talk to him about how he has been able to scale Array Digital and how he's been able to grow the team and put processes in place, and specifically how he's been able to use the Managing Partners podcast as a way to generate leads and start great conversations with referral partners. So Kevin, appreciate you being here.
Hey, Cannon, thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to share.
Great. Why don't you just give me a bit more of a background on you and your role and how you got started with Array Digital, and then we'll roll.
Absolutely, yeah. My name is Kevin Daisey. I'll back it up a little bit. I've always been into design. Kind of got into doing websites many years ago when I was 2006. And just started building websites for all kinds of businesses, law firms included, and kind of grew that to be a company instead of just a freelancer. Built a small team, if you will, and come 2017, through masterminds and meeting with other business owners, trying to get some help, right? And so they're like, you need to niche, you need to focus, and so we took Array Digital, we rebranded to Array Digital, and we niched into working with law firms specifically. Mm-hmm. At that same time, we started another agency that focused on HVAC contractors, and so we started to play the niche game. We started to focus, work on processes, and today we have 3 agencies with over 50 employees full time. And just happy to unpack any of that and talk about how we've kind of got to where we're at. So
yeah, great. You've mentioned that you so for these 3 agencies, you were the founder. You have a you co-own, correct? You co-own?
Yeah, I have a business partner in Array and Rival Digital. It's two different agencies, and then I have my main partner plus 2 others in a third agency that we started. So yeah, I have a few partners, and then each company has a president, which is in control of operations for each of those.
Okay. Yeah. Tell me about that process. How did you, what was the beginning stages of when you knew that you needed to put a very specific person in place to handle day-to-day and finances and get all of that stuff off of your plate so you can focus on vision? What was that process for you?
Yeah, it was, a lot of it comes from learning, reading books, being part of masterminds, having mentors, and just learning from what others have done that have already been there, done that. I think, you got to start to understand what you're good at, what you're not good at. For me, I'm a vision guy. I'm good at sales and talking to people and whatever. But I'm not good at admin tasks. I'm not good at grunt work type stuff. And so you got to realize what you're not good at. And me and my partner, of course, looking at, okay, what is his strengths, what are my strengths, and then where are the holes? And we just knew as we grew and scaled that having someone responsible for the operations and offloading that responsibility, for one, you want to be a sellable organization, whether or not you're going to sell or not. If the owners are still critically involved and necessary, then your value is just not there. So lots of reasons, and it was kind of a hard path to go to make that switch, especially for my partner. But we just knew it was necessary. We needed to put leadership in control. We needed to allow others to grow the teams and to have the time to be responsible for that. So,
do you ever have issues with communication styles, because you're coming at it from the vision standpoint? The presidents are coming at it from the operation standpoint. Do y'all butt heads on occasion? Have you found ways to better communicate and better work out?
Yeah, I mean, I think that just comes down, to culture and expectations and kind of we've definitely had folks in roles that have not worked out, and we've kind of had to step back. We've had to retool the whole team at one point. That just wasn't going to be the team that take us to the next step. And so, bringing in like Gary, that's the president of Array Digital. Like I funnel everything through him. I don't make decisions without him, even though, Kevin, you're one of the owners. You could do that. You just make decisions, but then you start to realize you've hired the right person when they're like, "Hey, what are you doing? Like, you got to go through me. This is what we need to do." And that's when you go, "Okay, I need to, I need to pull back. This is what they've been hired to do, and take that control." So yeah, there's definitely some bumping heads. There's definitely some things you have to work through. But one of our core values here is transparency. So having that, living by that, and saying, "Hey, I'm going to tell you, when things aren't good, when things are miscommunicated, or when you've gone, around me, or caused issues within the team." So you really have to, just like Armando has in you, it's like you need to kind of let them do their thing and have that trust, and then be honest and transparent. And if it's, you'll know if it's a good person for that role over time. So
Yeah. Speaking of core values, I'd love to hear, like with transparency, as you mentioned, like how do your core values, how have you shaped the organization to take the core values that you've like established as really, really important for the culture, and how has that been able to filter into the day-to-day operations that you've kind of envisioned, as well as Gary's implemented for Array Digital, your other presidents at your other agencies? Like how have you been able to shape the culture so much so that the day-to-day task checking off
abides by those core values, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, and love that, because I feel like that's one of the the unique things that we've done here that I think is awesome, and I've thought about this on my podcast a bunch. But so most companies like do make a mission statement and they make some core values and stuff like that. I'd say 99% of them don't do much with them after that exercise, right? And so you go to a conference, you get core values, you write them down. But to really have core values that you follow and use every day is a whole different level. And so we've changed ours over the years, and now they haven't changed in probably 5 or 6 years, because we've got them to where they need to be, and we feel great about them, and they haven't changed. One thing I would say, if you write down your first set of core values, they're probably going to change and adjust as you
Sure.
grow. And I think that's okay. So what we've done here is we've tied it to everything, and I mean everything. So we have Slack, which is a communication, kind of like WhatsApp. And so we have a kudos program and a kudos channel in Slack. So Canon, if you would have executed a new project and crushed it, knocked it out of the park, well, I would give you points and say, "Hey," and this is across the whole company, like plus 10 points to Canon. He rocked this project. It was so helpful, whatever. And I would hashtag all the core values that you lived up to in that situation. So our core values are quality, urgency, transparency, winning, and passion. That's the number one, I guess. So I would, whatever ones I feel like you used doing that, right? And so those points get added up. The whole team sees it, so it's a more public scene. And then every month there's a winner that gets bonused, cash bonus. Every quarter,
Nice.
there's a winner for each of our core values. So say if you won passion, then you would be our passion winner for the month or for the quarter. And then we get these like hand blown, like expensive glass awards that get sent out to you. And we get photos and we put that on social media and all that good stuff. Then in your annual review, we have a section for every core value, and we can pull up all the data for the whole year from Slack that gets into a spreadsheet and say, all right, how did Canon do this year as far as winning or transparency or passion? And then I have my own perspective, because I manage you, to say, here's my thoughts and notes where I think you can work on and how I feel like you've led up to it. So It's literally every single day used in our culture. And then we have
And
company
is that
meetings and we talk about
is
them.
that just managers? I'm sorry, is that just managers that are doing the point awarding, or is that like team point awards?
Everybody.
That's great. I love it.
Me and my partner can't win bonuses or win,
Yeah.
and we still get kudos here and there, but I give kudos every day, and then everyone. So if you were to give an employee or a manager kudos, you get a couple points yourself just for giving. And so we also look to say, hey, has Canon given any kudos or just received kudos or both? And so we can look for like silos, like, hey, this employee never gets kudos and never gives kudos. That's a problem,
Yeah.
right? So,
I
yeah, it's
love it.
pretty cool. And so, and we use like,
big-
we'll do company meetings every week, and it's like, everyone just says like hashtag transparency or hashtag whatever. So we use it in verbal forms as well.
Um,
And we cover them every company meeting, which is once a quarter, and just to make sure everyone understands what they're about.
so that awareness, that pervasiveness in the day to day, very much translate, and you incentivize every employee to keep an eye out for others, but also to display it themselves. You've created a culture in such a way that because it's so pervasive, it just naturally flows into the day to day tasks. Like, I'm going to do this task with excellence in a very transparent way, or
Yeah, urgency, right? So
yeah.
say if you all are a client and you're like, hey, Kevin, we need to have this page added. Well, might not be an urgent task. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But if it's we got 3 to 5 days to work on that task, that's whatever. The goal is, hey, in the day's ending, I got time. That task's not really due for a couple of days. Canon doesn't care. Hey, Canon, I got this done for you today. You just asked for it today. That's urgency, right? It's how can we get things done for our clients in a way that is time to value. Like they're paying us. The faster we can get something out the door, and that's just kind of like urgency, right? So that's one of the things there. Passion, they love what they do. They enjoy their job. If we can see that they don't really like a role, well, there's no passion there, and that's either A, they got to go, or they have to transition to a role that makes sense. If there's a role that exists, you don't want to make up a role. So it allows us to really stay on track and identify, like, if someone might not need to be here because they don't enjoy it either. Let's coach them out and help them find a better place that they can be. That's going to happen. It's not something you need to hide from,
Yeah.
So
I love that. So within like the founder owner level, you might not constantly be in the weeds of process and procedures and systems, but that was a process and procedure and system that you had developed. What was your thought process? Like, was that kind of an amalgamation of mentors or books? Like, how did you get that information, work out a system, and whether it was you or one of the presidents, like, how did you implement?
yeah.
How did you go from ideation to implementation?
Yeah, well, actually, kudos would go to my business partner Eric. So when we met, we were both two companies, and he was doing more like software development, custom applications like mobile apps, and I was doing design and SEO marketing. And so when we combined, he really brought a lot of like programmer-esque kind of things to the table. So they use Slack, right? And so was at the time was more of like a programmer kind of style platform that was being used. And so the kudos part, he picked up, I forgot who he told me. He said he picked that up from somebody. But then he implemented it into Slack with Zapier, with Google Sheets, and made it into like a trackable system.
Wow.
And
That's great.
exactly. So then, he just took it and, he's a programmer. So he's like, how can I get this to work within our day-to-day chat system and then calculate, and then we can use that to bonus and award people and things like that. Plus, it's public recognition, which is probably better than the bonus that they're going to get. It's
Sure.
everyone basically voted for Canon.
The bonus is nice.
The bonus is nice too.
But
So yeah, he really took it to like, I don't know if you read it in a book or was shared by somebody in a group, but he took that and said, all right, how can we apply this with some technology behind it? And the system that we've had in place has been the same for, since we started Array Digital, honestly.
well,
So
that's great.
Yeah.
That means it's a good system. You don't need to tweak too much, and it's working well.
yeah, no, again, we changed the core values. Me and my partner, we were in it was a mastermind group and a workshop, and they were like, it was all about mission, vision, and values. And we're like, oh, we already have all this stuff. And so, but when you get in a room full of other business owners and you go, all right, here's our core values, we've already done all this stuff. And then they just started shooting holes in it. They're like, your core value is honesty? Like, that's really low level,
Everyone should be honest.
Well, at the time, we had a bunch of programmers and people like that. It's like we wanted people just to show up. We had,
Sure.
instead of urgency, we had like on time or like something stupid like that.
Okay.
So we really got ripped to shreds. And then we said, well, maybe these aren't the best core values. And so we combined a couple. We made them a little bit more stronger and impactful. So it's been a work in progress, but really good system. We encourage any business, law firms, or anybody to do something like this. And really, they're using your core values every day, or are they just on, the wall?
Well, yeah, and what I love about that is like it's such a good marrying of that visionary seat with that integrator seat. Like, how do you get these two to work in tandem to accomplish a big goal? And culture is huge. Like, developing a good culture where it's giving first, where everybody is wanting to give kudos to everybody else. It's like, so that's such a good example, and I appreciate you bringing that up.
Culture
I
is
do want to pivot over. I want to pivot over into the Managing Partners podcast. Yep, there it is. Tell me a bit about that and like who you want to bring on, but also like your strategy with it. Like, is it just a podcast to you, or are you wanting to do something more with it?
Yeah, I will start maybe at the beginning, I guess. As we niched into the legal industry, we were an unknown company, right? No one knew who we are. New to the legal industry, and I know a lot of the owners of competing companies just like us now. It was a hard space to just jump into, and so me and my partner actually had a business podcast that we had hosted for a couple years with like 1,300 episodes. We had daily drops, and so we were just kind of comfortable, just talking and doing podcasts. And so through a mastermind group, actually, one of the recommendations that someone made was start a podcast, and you can invite on your potential prospects, your clients. And this is exactly what we did without even hesitation, and said, okay, well, if I was going to call a law firm owner, and say, hey, your website's not good, your online marketing sucks, that's a tall task, and it doesn't work out very well. It's annoying. They don't want to hear it.
To get them to the table to actually talk.
If you even get them on the phone, good luck. And if you do, you better have something good to say. So it was just very difficult and not something we really wanted to do. And so we said, well, what if we had a podcast we could interview, and we'll see if this works. We'll reach out to law firm owners, and lo and behold, they would say yes. And we had a brand new show. This is Cannon's second episode, right?
Yes.
And no one questions the longevity or how many downloads or, really what the reach is. It's an opportunity for them to get some exposure. That's just kind of what they think. So they come on. So I was surprised that, oh, wow, I'm getting law firm owners to come on the show and having great conversations, great content. And now it's grown into 400 episodes. It's probably 3 or 4 years in the running at this point. And so it started out as literally a way to get in the room with these lawyers and have conversations and see if that led to referrals or them wanting to do business with us. It did all that. And it's genuine. You know, I run businesses and I talk about running businesses on the podcast with law firm business owners. And so just like we're talking now, right? And so I get a ton out of it. They get a bunch out of it. Now we have a huge audience and we push it everywhere. And it's led to conference invites and speaking engagements and other podcasts and all that good stuff. So it's really just been our biggest marketing tool. It's ingrained in everything. It's on our website.
Yeah.
All my content is surrounded around it. And so just like the core values, it's kind of weaved into everything that we do at this point. If you become a client, I'll invite you to be on a guest on the podcast. If you're not a client, I'll invite you to be a guest on the podcast. If you're a referral partner, you know, come in and give them exposure and help get them in front of law firms and things like that. So it's
such a good opportunity just to have quality time. It's like, how often is that happening? Too much, like it within a business context. It's not I don't. With the advent of technology, I'd say that it's kind of taken a change. But like, with podcasting and this kind of structure, this communicate, like I'm learning so much from you that I wouldn't have like had much opportunity to learn otherwise. And so like, and I get to give you like 30, 45 minutes, whatever, like just undivided attention. Like I just want to learn from you. And like, that's valuable in of itself.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, whether it's a like a prospect or a referral partner that you like, it's such a good opportunity to be genuine. Like I'm not trying to get anything from you. I just want to develop a good relationship. And this is such a good tool that I can, it's still one-to-one, but like that doesn't have like, it doesn't have to be one-to-many. Like one-to-one is still really, really impactful.
Oh, well, it's honestly, I can't think of a other than like traveling and coming to hang out with you for the weekend. I don't know what else, you know, could be better than this. And so I have so many law firm owner friends. They're not all, most of them are not clients, like good friends with them, friends on Facebook, comment on our kids' stuff, like straight, you know, have relationships with them. If I go in any town or city, guaranteed I can hang out with these folks, and I want to. You know, lawyers just happen to be our clients, but they're also business owners, and that's really like my connection to them. I don't care about the law. You know, I'm not a lawyer, and that we don't talk about that stuff. We talk about running companies and business.
Yeah.
So you could own a landscape company or a restaurant or a law firm. I'm just as interested, you know, and so this one-on-one is the most valuable. Yeah. And then you have all the byproducts, which is content for yourself, exposure to their audience, and free lessons from them.
Yep, absolutely.
And then you can apply that to your business. So it's insane, like how many perks and benefits there are. If you go to a conference, there's people everywhere. You're talking in groups. No one's by themselves one-on-one. You're always like moving around and shuffling to meet more people, but you're never getting like that real connection because it's, again, people walking all over the place in group settings. So this is better than going to a conference, right? In my opinion.
Yep. Yeah. No, I'd agree. Yeah, I mean, like just focus on the content itself. Like there is so much that you can do off of just a 30-minute podcast. I'm seeing like you can, obviously you have the full thing. You've got clips you can cut from it. You can create blog content from it. You can create action steps. Like you can, there is a plethora of content that you can create and just be valuable and just be a valuable giving human being off of this 30-minute conversation. Is so leverageable.
Oh,
I love it.
Yeah, I think most people too. This is something I've been doing. Obviously, you got the video clips and all that stuff, and videos, number one. But then you can also take this transcript. I did this for a couple of my guests. Take the transcript, get a LinkedIn article created, put their headshot on there with yours, and say, hey, I just interviewed this person, and here's an article, out of that episode. And so different kinds of content. There's just so much you can do, and it gives them something else that's sticky that they can share and they can use. And then for referrals, I mean, you could say, hey, I attached a clip of me and Cannon. We just recorded a podcast. I thought you would love to be introduced to him. So let me make that connect. But they can actually
That's a great point.
tie it to an episode where they're like, well, who's Cannon? Well, here's Cannon right here talking to me. I have trust with
idea.
them. They can see me with you. Then that trust is applied right to the other person.
Even more so than just a warm introduction is still super valuable, but having the content attached to it as well, just goes that extra mile. That's such a good point.
Yeah, and then maybe they watch it and go, wow, damn, I learned a lot from that guy. I'm definitely connect with him versus Kevin seemed to be like someone I should connect with, but not everyone's gonna. The thing is, if they're in need for your service, that's one thing. If it's just like, hey, maybe you need their service, then that kind of connection, that referral might have a little bit more stickiness.
Yeah, I love it. Well, just kind of want to wrap up here. What's the next step for Array Digital? What are you looking towards, and what obstacles are you currently trying to overcome to get y'all to that place?
I appreciate that. World domination. That's good. We're literally trying to be one of the top, premier providers in what we do. So we are a search company. So we do web development, SEO, content, any kind of search, advertising, Google, stuff like that. Things that are coming up, though, we're also focused on AI search. So we want our clients to be found in AI platforms, ChatGPT, if they're looking for a lawyer. What lawyer comes up in that market? So we're really focused on AI search. That's included in our services, digital PR. And so while SEO is definitely not dead, SEO is technically going to be the same as AI search in some form of whatever you want to call it. So we're constantly leveling up, or building our team with experts, and things are pivoting. AI is around, content can be written by AI and things like that. So we're staying on top of our technology stack, being more efficient, being more affordable, and again, we want to be within the top few agencies that are around. Most other agencies have sold, to private equity and then rolled up. We're staying strong, true to ourselves, and so our goal is to continue to grow and help as many law firms as we possibly can, and do it transparently and with intent and integrity. So I think that's scaling and growing and keeping all those things intact. I think is challenging for most.
Yeah.
So
great. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to leave for listeners who are kind of in the ops space, maybe hearing from the more the visionary role perspective?
Yeah, I would say if you're ops out there and you have leaders and visionaries and that you have to deal with, I think it's you got to stay true to yourself. I think I could come up with an idea and then Cannon would be like, that's that's going to throw a wrench in things or it's going to derail. But I'd say you need those fresh ideas. You need those things coming back into the company, especially if they went to like a conference or went to a mastermind and they're like, hey, I check out what this company's doing. You want to take a hard look at it, but I think you got to stand your ground too and say, hey, for this quarter or this month, like we're trying to accomplish these things. If we want to change that, then so you just got to talk to them in a way that they make sense of, okay, this is something we can't do right now, or we have to make a pivot and a change based on what we already said we wanted to accomplish. So I think the visionaries can probably bring a lot of chaos to the ops teams in some regards, but they usually bring in the money or the new clients, and I would say listen to them, but you got to also
Yeah.
be real and say, okay, we can't do all these things because we're going to be stretched too thin, or we won't get the other projects done that we need to get done.
Yeah, I say that the visionaries are the fuel, and the the integrators are the engine. You cannot have one without the other and have a running car. You need both. And so I'm on a mission to understand both sides as best as possible, to be able to communicate, to be a translator. I like kind of acting as translator, being able to communicate the language of the visionaries, communicate the language of the integrators.
That's huge. Yeah.
Yeah, and because I think that and that was one of the earlier questions. Is I've seen teams that don't operate very well with one another, and the team grows stagnant. And so smoothing out that communication barrier, the language barrier, is very important. So I appreciate you bringing that up.
Yeah, and I think like we do marketing and services for our clients, but to some of our ops people, like I call the whole team ops, the ones that are doing the work, and then you have like operation directors and the president and stuff like that. But
Sure.
it's the like me, I'm more like, okay, what does the client need and what's the situation, and some of the ops people are just very like step by step task, but it's like, okay, sometimes we got to bend a little bit, we have to be flexible, we have to understand the situation,
Yep.
and not just be so head down that we're like, hey, this isn't going to help this situation with this client.
Yep.
But that's my list of tasks that I got to go through. So, being flexible and open
Yes.
to change sometimes, and that might be per client.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But I think ops people want
absolutely.
very controlled situations, that they can predict.
Yeah. Well, Kevin, I appreciate you being here. I really do. This was a good conversation. Learned a lot. So, and for all the listeners, appreciate you listening and tuning in. Ops Owners, again, is the podcast where we bring on both owners and operators to learn how to build bigger businesses and better businesses and scale, and do so in a sustainable way. So, Kevin, again, thank you.
Yeah, Ken.
Appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed it, and let's get it done.
That's right. Take care, everybody.
See ya.